You ever notice how every show has that one moment where you stop, sit back, and ask yourself, wait, did the writers just flip the entire story on its head? Well, Sullivan's Crossing Season 3 just delivered that moment. And no, it wasn't Maggie's tears, it wasn't Sully's silence, it wasn't even the town's quiet whispers in the aftermath of heartbreak. It was Cal, the man we trusted, the man positioned as the grounding force, the quiet savior, the supposedly stable one who balanced Maggie's chaos. Suddenly, he isn't a rock anymore. Suddenly, he's shifting, cracking, and maybe, just maybe, showing us a darker truth the writers never wanted us to see until now. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody's really asking. Did Sullivan's Crossing just sacrifice Maggie's flaws to build Cal's downfall? 'Cause think about it. For 2 seasons, Maggie carried the flawed but trying archetype. She stumbled, she broke things, she hurt people, but she grew. The audience forgave her because her struggle felt real. She was the soul of the show. And then Season 3 arrives. Maggie is grieving. Yes, but instead of deepening her conflict, the writers drain it. They pull the flaws out of her and hand them, like a poisoned gift, straight to Cal. Suddenly, he's the one unraveling. So ask yourself, was that a brilliant switch up to keep things fresh? Or was it a betrayal of everything we thought we knew about these characters? That's the problem we're diving into today. And trust me, you're not ready for how deep this rabbit hole goes. Let's break it down. Cal used to be written as safe. Too safe, honestly. The rugged, handsome wanderer with a past, but a heart of gold. We've seen it before. He was practically the Nicholas Sparks insert stormy eyes, steady voice, tragic backstory but redeemable spirit. And we all bought into it. But Season 3 ripped that mask off. For the first time, we see Cal as controlling. He stops being Maggie's anchor and starts being her shadow. Watch the way he pushes enduring moments where Maggie should have her own voice. Watch how the camera lingers on him, not as a protector, but as a looming presence. It's subtle at first. A word here, a look there, and then boom, it's no longer subtle. He's not healing anymore. He's manipulating. Here's the kicker, this isn't sloppy writing. It's intentional. The writers are laying breadcrumbs for something darker in Season 4. They've taken the audience's trust in Cal and weaponized it against us. And honestly, that's a bold, risky move. Because here's the controversy. Half the fans are already furious. Sale would never do that. This isn't him. They're calling it character assassination. But the other half, they're fascinated. Finally! He's human. He's messy. He's dangerous. So where do you land? Betrayal or brilliance? Now, let's talk about the emotional trade-off. Season 3 stripped Maggie of her defining conflict. She wasn't messy. She wasn't flawed. She wasn't struggling against her own impulses. She was grieving. And grief, while powerful, flattened her. She became a ghost of the woman we once debated about, argued over, loved or hated but never ignored. Instead, that chaos, that instability, it got transplanted. Straight into Cal. Why? Because TV lives on conflict, and when you remove it from your lead, someone else has to carry it. But the cost here is massive. Maggie's voice gets dimmer, and Cal becomes the ticking time bomb. It's a gamble that could either elevate Season 4 into uncharted emotional territory, or sink it into backlash hell. Let's get personal for a second. When I first saw Cal turning cold, I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I couldn't believe they actually did it. It was the kind of writing decision that makes you check Reddit to see if anyone else caught it, because surely you're not imagining it. And sure enough, the fandom is on fire. Some are calling it a betrayal. Others are calling it the best decision the show's ever made. But here's what nobody's saying out loud. The real danger isn't Cal turning manipulative. The real danger is what it does to the fabric of Sullivan's Crossing itself. Because this isn't just about a man losing his way. It's about a town built on second chances suddenly realizing that maybe not everyone deserves one. And if that's true, what does it mean for Maggie? For Sully? For the fragile community holding on by a thread? Before we go deeper, I have to say this. If you're the kind of fan who thrives on peeling back the layers, seeing the moves the writers don't want you to notice, this channel is built for you. Hit subscribe now so you don't miss the breakdown of the next twist. Because trust me, they're coming. Okay, back to the fire. Here's a secret most fans are missing. Cal's downfall isn't just his. It's tied to Maggie's arc in a way that feels almost parasitic. Notice how every time she gets quieter, he gets louder. Every time she retreats, he steps in. It's like the writers are siphoning her agency and injecting it into him. And if that sounds intentional, it's because it is. This is what I call the narrative swap. Writers use it when they're terrified of a stagnant lead character. Maggie's grief boxed her in, so they cracked Cal open. It's a trick, but a dangerous one. Because once you've swapped flaws, you can't easily swap them back. Which raises the forbidden question. What if Season 4 isn't about Maggie's redemption at all? What if it's about Cal's destruction? And here's where it gets even darker. The show has always flirted with the idea of healing, of redemption, of second chances. But if Cal is on a downward spiral, then we're heading toward the one thing Sullivan's Crossing has never dared to touch, the idea that some wounds don't heal. Some people don't get saved. And if Cal is that person, if the writers are brave enough to let him truly fall, then Season 4 is going to break the very foundation of the show. Because what's Sullivan's Crossing if not a place where broken people get better? Take that away, and what's left? A mirror. A mirror showing us that sometimes we can't outrun who we are. And that, my friends, is a story much scarier than any small town heartbreak. The storm may have passed, but peace? That's still out of reach. Every moment in Sullivan's Crossing feels like borrowed time, and in this second act of the story, we start to see the cracks spreading faster than anyone can control. Let's start with Maggie. She thought returning home would bring healing, but instead, it's like walking barefoot across broken glass. Every smile she forces for her patients, every polite nod she gives to Cal, every conversation with Sully, it all hides the truthly. She's still drowning in guilt. And here's the kicker, no one around her fully understands just how heavy that guilt really is. Have you ever felt like the people closest to you are the furthest away? That's Maggie in this moment. And the more she tries to hold it together, the closer she comes to shattering. But while Maggie hides her storm inside Cal, he's bracing for one outside. The mysterious phone call we glimpsed in the premiere, the one he quickly silenced, is back in play here. Who was on the other end? A figure from his past? A threat he thought he buried? Whatever it is, it's pulling him away from Maggie just when she needs him most. And here's a theory, maybe Cal isn't the savior of Sullivan's Crossing, like so many fans think. Maybe he's the one who could bring it all crashing down. And then we have Sully. Sully, the man who built this place with his bare hands, but now, he can't hold on to anything. His sobriety hangs by a thread. His relationship with Maggie is strained to the breaking point. And worst of all, the crossing itself, the land that's been in his family for generations, could slip through his fingers. We see him snapping at people he loves, retreating into silence, staring at the river like it holds answers he can't find anywhere else. And tell me, does that sound like a man preparing for redemption, or a man preparing for goodbye? Meanwhile, the townspeople, the very heartbeat of this story, are not just background noise. They're the mirror reflecting everything Maggie, Cal, and Sully are too afraid to admit. Rob and Sydney struggle to keep their marriage intact while whispering rumors about the newcomers. Lola, with her sharp eyes and sharper tongue, keeps digging where she doesn't belong, unearthing secrets better left buried. And young Finn? He's desperate to escape Sullivan's Crossing entirely, but his reckless choices might drag everyone down with him. And let's not forget about love. In Sullivan's Crossing, love isn't soft. It's not gentle. It's a battlefield. Maggie and Cal's slow, burn connection simmers under every stolen glance, every unspoken word. But can we really call it love if it's built on half, truths and shadows? Or is it just two broken people clinging to each other in the dark, hoping the other will light the way? And here's where I need you. Do you believe Maggie and Cal can actually make it work? Or is this doomed from the start? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I guarantee this debate is going to split the fandom right down the middle. Now here's where things take an even darker turn. The letter. If you noticed in episode 2, Sully receives a letter he hides away almost instantly. He folds it, stuffs it deep in his pocket, and changes the subject. But why? What's in that letter that makes a man like Sully go pale? Some fans think it's financial trouble. Others think it's legal. But I'll go one step further. What if that letter is tied to Cal's past? What if Sully knows more about this mysterious newcomer than he's letting on? Secrets. Lies. Forbidden knowledge hiding in plain sight. That's the essence of Sullivan's Crossing. And the closer we look, the clearer it becomes this isn't just a story about family and healing. It's a story about survival. About how far you'll go to protect the people you love, and how much of yourself you'll lose in the process. And before we turn the page to the next chapter, let me just say, if you've made it this far and you're hooked, you need to subscribe right now. Because we're only scratching the surface, and trust me, You don't want to miss what's coming next.